When customers come to me looking for pots and pans, I try to separate the two things. Buying a pan, as in like a frying pan or a skillet, is for a very specific job and it really needs a certain type of attention. It's a lot like buying a knife. It's very specific, very detailed, very personalized. However, pots can be very generalized and it's hard to know exactly what you need. So what I wanted to cover today was how to choose pots that work for you. Okay, so first off, let's talk budget. So pots can make or break a set of cookware. So I'm of an opinion that not all of the pieces of your cookware set need to be of the same quality or brand. And I like to advocate for those pieces that you're going to use less often, buy less expensive, if that makes sense. So there are certain pieces that used very often, and these are some pieces like a sauté pan, and a sauté pan that can end up actually being a primary tool in somebody's kitchen can be somewhere that you could spend a good amount of money. You know, this here is an Atlantis, large 11-inch sauté pan from the Meyer, and it's a premium price. And to some people, this is worth spending a lot of money on because you're going to use it and use it and use it and use it. And it's arguably one of the best pieces of stainless steel, if not the best quality stainless steel in the world. And why not have that experience for something that you use all the time? However, if you are going to boil water a few times a year of a capacity like this is not somewhere to spend a lot of money. You know, this here is a brand called Thermaloy, and there are many brands like Thermaloy. This is a Chinese-made encapsulated base. So what this means is that it has a capsule of aluminum on the bottom with a non-aluminum, just single layer stainless steel body. Works beautifully well for boiling water. You know, so if you're gonna have a large pot of whatever, works great, and you're gonna save a bunch of money than having like a tri-clad pot of that sort of size. So that's somewhere to save some money. So that is the first thing that I like to discuss with people. It's like, hey, where can we save money in buying a set? And where should you spend money? So instead of trying to average it and buy everything the same, and so you've averaged each pot, from a performance standpoint, that doesn't make as much sense. It's like, hey, overspend on the piece you're gonna love and use it all the time, and let's save somewhere else. Or, hey, do you really use that piece often? Or is there a different piece that you can use to replace that and buy less? Right? So instead of what you would thought of having 5 or 7 pieces of cookware, maybe you need 4, right? So that's each very personal, and you really got to look at how you're cooking and does that make sense for you? You know, traditionally we've always had, you know, a fairly large set of cookware at home. And, you know, I personally find that I use 1 or 2 pans at a time, and I really cycle through 3 pans a lot. I have a lot of frying pans, because I use them to test them and enjoy them. So I go through a lot of them, and it's very hard for me to choose the one that I love the most. However, if I had to, I probably could choose just one, and that would do me just fine. So the other aspect to look at when you're choosing cookware is material. So this is a braising pan from Stobe. It's heavy, beautiful, high quality enameled cast iron. You can braise with stainless steel also, but people do find they get the best performance out of cast iron. So an enameled cast iron brazier is a unique piece that's like, hey, in my set of cookware, I'm gonna have, for my brazier, I'm going to have a piece of cast iron. So I've got 2 pieces of stainless steel, I've got a carbon steel 8-inch, I've got a 10-inch or 11-inch cast iron raw, and now I have a piece of enameled cast iron. And that is starting to compose a set that works really well for that unique individual. So another piece that I would highly suggest to look at in cast iron is an oven. So this is a Stobe large oven. Nothing really will compete with this. You can go into many different sizes and styles of stainless steel, but the weight and the finish of using a piece of cast iron like this, nothing will do low and slow better. So I suggest to most everybody, because I don't know many people that cook that wouldn't do well with having, a 4 liter, a 5 liter, up to an 8 liter like this guy here in a cast iron pot. So this is something that I suggest to most everybody, like I do, hey, buy a carbon steel or cast iron skillet. This is another essential item. Using something like a brazier, this is really particular to how you cook, right? This is not for everybody. Not everybody needs a brazier. However, a cast iron oven, that's pretty much every single person that I sell cookware to can use one of these guys. So the other important type size to look at is using something like a saucepan or a sauce pot. So this is a saucepan that has a handle off the sides. You have a sauce pot that would have 2 handles like so. Same vessel, different handle configuration. Just depends on how you like to use your cookware. Do you want a handle like that, or do you want 2 handles on the sides? It's nice on the back of the stove where you don't have a handle to get in the way, but if you use this on the front of the stove a lot, it's nice to have a handle if you're going back and forth to the sink a lot. So there are many different configurations to put together and a lot of the factors to choose, like what type of handle is it? Do I like that handle? How is that piece composed? If you're gonna be using the cookware a lot, I suggest looking at least a 5-ply cookware. Many years ago, cookware was 3-ply, and that's kind of how it came. I've found mostly a lot of the 3-ply cookwares that at one point in time were of high quality seem to be lower quality these days, specifically all-clad. I find all-clad, what they call their D3, used to be their kind of benchmark 20 years ago. I find it's become a lot lighter. So if you're looking at all-clad, definitely look at their D5 as a bare minimum. And within something like the Industry from DeMeyer, that is a 5-ply. It's a thick 5-ply. It's fantastic. And then they also then go into the Atlantis that is of a whole different configuration that I've talked about in different videos. That is, as I've said previously, arguably the best cookware in the world. And look at those key pieces, and that's where you spend the money. So decide, is it stainless that I want? Do I want something that is lighter, easier to move around the kitchen? I want it to react quite quickly. I want it to, look shiny all the time. Stainless works really well. Or cast iron, slow and low. I'm not concerned if it gets a bit of a black kind of buildup. Cleanliness is not my main point when I'm trying to use it. And then try to compare between using cast iron or stainless. And then for those pieces, hey, I use them once in a while. Doesn't really matter. Most of them doing liquids in them. Save some money. Find the brand, and most stores that you go into, especially gourmet stores, should have their introductory brand, and then move into their high-end brands and mix and match. And a lot of times, especially a gourmet store like ours, that's where if you're looking at buying a set, sometimes the box sets are a great deal, but a lot of time those retailers will also work with you. If you're going in to buy 5 or 7 pieces of cookware, off the bat, a set pricing and an open stock is something that is pretty common. It's something that we definitely do, that if somebody say, hey, I'm here to buy a set of cookware, we try to talk to them first about putting together a set that has all the different pieces in it, and then working a really good price for them, instead of forcing them into buying what comes in a box. Sometimes the box is perfect, especially we found that in the DeMeyer cookware, in the Atlantis, in the Industry, in the set, that works so well for so many people. So it's just like, right, check off all the boxes. Box set of Industry, that just works for you. Box set of Atlantis, great, awesome, great way to start. Then people supplement with some cast iron or carbon steel with that. So I hope this has helped get some focus on how to start to compose and the best place to invest and where to try to save. So any questions, please throw them below, and I'll get back to you. Thanks so much.